We all have a family that we come from, and in each family, it creates a degree of a family norm. And sometimes in cultures, there are shared family norms that a culture may have. I know in my culture, in my community, African American community, or Black and Brown communities in general, there are some shared family norms that a lot of us have experienced, some of which we want to keep, some of which we don't. So, a family norm is the thing that, or the culture that is created within your family that helps navigate you through the world. So, how you operate within the house, how you operate outside of the house, what your beliefs are, what your values are, what you deem to be right or wrong, what things are okay and what are not okay, what things are communicated about or not communicated about, how communication is made. Um, all these things are creating your family norm. Like I said before, many of us had this shared experience of family norms, some of which are really negative. And I want you to take some inventory as to whether or not you have some family norms that you want to get rid of or that you want to keep. So, some examples of that would be vulnerability being seen as weakness versus a strength. So, expressing emotion, crying, asking for help, those things being seen as weakness versus a strength. So there being a negative thing around vulnerability versus it being a positive thing. Not seeking mental health. So going to therapy, going to coaching, learning skill sets to effectively communicate, gentle parenting, positive affirmations, just ways in which we are checking in on our mental health being deemed as a negative thing and as a thing that other people do, but that we don't do within our family. Another thing is being spoken to in a negative way or disrespectful way and having to tolerate that because you're younger than whoever is talking to you. So, someone that is considered your elder, someone that's just older than you, that you're supposed to accept what it is they have to say and what they're saying to you, how they're saying it to you, especially if it's in a negative way. So tolerating that. Comments about your body. So this one is a really big one, especially for women, about your hips and your what you're wearing and your complexion. Just a number of comments about your body that people just say out as a family norm that is deemed to be okay, but it's really is not too hot, especially if you don't want your body to be talked about and if you have body image issues and if you have young people looking after you, right? So it can create this diet culture. It can create just negative body image, having those comments be made about your body. The other thing is not discussing childhood hurts and traumas. So a lot of times in a lot of families, in a lot of cultures, a lot of things are swept under the rug. And they're things that need to be talked about. They're things that are traumatic. They're things that are hurtful. They're things that are consistently happening from generation to generation because they're not being communicated about. So that may be anxiety, that may be depression, that may be assault, that may be abuse, neglect, that may be a number of things, grief, right? So these are things that may or may not be communicated about because it has developed itself into a family norm within your family. Thing is pressure regarding future oriented things. So that would be graduation or when you're having kids or when you get married or when you're going back to school or whatever. It's this pressure that you were expected to achieve this next thing because someone said that you should. And that is a lot to put on a person, especially because you may not be a person that wants to do any of those things, or especially around pregnancy for women and for men even, trying to conceive looks different for a lot of people and has a lot of trauma for a lot of people. And so if someone is constantly pressuring you about that, then that can be really hurtful and kind of triggering. Same with graduation, same with marriage, same with any other expectation of a future oriented thing. When are you going to buy a house? When are you going to do these things that may not be things that you want or maybe things that you absolutely want and have had a hard time doing it? They don't know, but they got a lot to say about it. So if you are experiencing or have experienced some family norms that you're like, yeah, no, I don't want those, let me know and take some inventory of the ones you want to keep and the other ones that you want to get rid of.